You don't need to know how. You just need to decide what. Bob Proctor. You don't need luck. You don't need an inheritance. You don't need the perfect business or the right opportunity. What you need is to understand and apply with obsessive conviction the most overlooked principle of success. Backhand index pointing right, everything starts in the mind. Even your first million. Before a single dollar hits your account. Before any sale, partnership, result, or breakthrough. Your first million is born in your consciousness. And that's exactly why most people never get there. Because they want the money, but keep thinking like they're broke. They act small. They vibrate scarcity, doubt, urgency, fear. They want millions with a mindset that repels wealth. And here's the raw truth no one wants to face. You will never out-earn the value you assign to yourself internally. You will never sustain more than your mind believes you deserve. You might earn it, but you'll lose it. You might achieve it, but you'll sabotage it. Because money doesn't stay where the mind is misaligned. You have to become before you have. And that's the fatal mistake most people make, trying to achieve without transforming first. But those who truly win, those who build wealth, purpose, and freedom, are the ones who program their mind to be a millionaire before seeing a single extra dollar in their bank account. This isn't cheap motivation. It's reality engineering. And it starts with one decision. You stop looking outward and start building inward. Think with me. What's the difference between you and someone who's already made their first million? You both have 24 hours. You both live on the same planet. You both face challenges. The difference is in how that person thinks. They think in possibilities. You think in limitations. They think expansion. You think about surviving the month. They think about multiplying value. You think about making more. They think about serving better because they've understood the game. Money doesn't go to those who want it. Money flows to those who create value with a consciousness of abundance. And value can only be created at scale when you're clear about who you are and what you're vibrating. So if you want to make your first million, the first question is not, what do I sell? But, who am I becoming? You must become someone with a millionaire mindset. And that gets built with discipline, with awareness, with frequency. You wake up every day and ask, how would my millionaire self think today? What would they do? What would they no longer tolerate? Who would they connect with? What would they say? What would they reject? Because your first million is not about money. It's about identity. You're not here to try. You're here to embody the most powerful version of yourself. And that demands you kill the old self. The one who procrastinates. The one who needs approval. The one waiting for the world's permission. The one who self-sabotages right before the breakthrough. That you must be buried. Because your million is in a different frequency. And to access it, you'll have to align with a new vibration. Bob Proctor used to say, backhand index pointing right. You must be in harmony with what you want to attract. That means you have to stop vibrating fear, worry, guilt, shame. Those are heavy energies. And money doesn't flow in heavy energies. Money likes lightness, confidence, clarity, certainty. And you build that certainty daily, not with desperate hustle, but with aligned habits, with non-negotiable focus, with the faith of someone who knows. My success is already inevitable because I'm already becoming the person it requires. If you do this for 30, 60, 90 days with conviction, something shifts. Not in the world first, but inside of you. You start thinking differently, seeing opportunities where you used to see blocks, speaking with more certainty, acting with more intuition. And that changes how the world sees you, how it responds to you, how it rewards you. And the money comes, not as a miracle, but as a direct reflection of your new mind. Your first million doesn't start with numbers. It starts with vision, with a clear, sharp, vivid image of who you are becoming. And when I say vivid, I don't mean just daydreaming. I mean internally living it as if it were already real. You need to see yourself signing that contract. You need to see yourself opening that statement and smiling in silence. You need to see yourself walking into that place, taking that trip, stepping into that level with ease. Not with surprise, not with a wow, I actually did it, but with the calm vibration of someone who says, of course this happened. I was already that person before any of this showed up. This is the key Napoleon Hill revealed in Think and Grow Rich. The secret he uncovered after interviewing the wealthiest and most successful men in the world. They mentally lived their results long before they physically reached them. They were thinking in millions when they didn't even have a dollar to their name. But inside they were ready. They were already there. Are you ready? Because if you're not, the universe won't deliver. Life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you accept as internal truth. And if you're still doubting, still hesitating, still waiting for permission, you're out of alignment. Look, the millionaire doesn't have more courage. They have more clarity. They act faster because they decided long ago who they are. They don't wait for motivation. They act because they are motivation in human form. And that's what you need to cultivate. It's not about doing more. It's about doing from the right place, the right frequency, the right identity. You want your first million? Then stop living like someone with 1,000. Start living like someone who moves the world with their ideas, like someone who transforms lives with their value, like someone who's not limited by a bank account because they know their greatest wealth is in the mind and everything else is just a reflection. Do you see the pattern? The people who win act as if they already are, and that's why they become. You don't wait to become a millionaire to start thinking like one. You think like one so you can become. You don't wait for the result to feel confident. You feel confident before the result, and that's exactly why it shows up. You don't say, when I have money, I'll invest in myself. You say, because I am prosperous, I invest in myself now. And that's why the money comes. Because life rewards those who already live in the frequency of what they desire. It ignores those who ask with the vibration of doubt and responds instantly to those who vibrate certainty. So repeat after me, not as an empty mantra, but as an internal decision. I am the kind of person who makes millions with purpose. I am the kind of person who turns value into freedom. I am the kind of person who attracts wealth because my mind is already rich. And if that sentence makes you uncomfortable, if it sounds too far away, it's because there's an old program still running your vibration. A program installed without your permission. Thoughts like, money doesn't grow on trees. People with money are greedy. I wasn't born for that. I'm not good with numbers. I just want enough to get by. All of these sentences create invisible walls between you and your first million. And until you rip out those roots, until you reprogram your mind with the new truth, nothing will change in a lasting way. You could try 1,000 strategies, courses, shortcuts, but without a millionaire identity, it'll all fall apart sooner or later. Because the external world always reflects your internal vibration. That's why, in the coming days, your biggest mission is not to look outward. It's to build inward. Every day, with focus, with intention, with vibrational discipline. You wake up and ask, what's my frequency today? If it's fear, you shift it. If it's doubt, you shift it. If it's attachment, you release it. If it's scarcity, you reject it. You start becoming, day after day, someone inevitable. Someone money can no longer avoid. Because you are now what it's looking for. Because you've become magnetic, aligned, aware, ready. The universe doesn't deal in luck. It deals in vibrational precision. It responds to those who know what they want, who've already claimed who they are, who no longer wait for permission to exist in greatness. And you know what's even more powerful? Your first million doesn't have to come from what you already know. It can come from a new talent, from an idea that hasn't been born yet, from a connection you haven't made, from an inspiration that will only arrive once your frequency is high enough to receive it. Your mind is the soil. The million is the harvest. But if the soil is dry, contaminated by thoughts of limitation, fear, victimhood, and doubt, the seed of wealth won't sprout. So you must ask yourself, with radical honesty, what have you been fertilizing your soil with? With complaints? With procrastination? With self-pity? Or have you been watering your mind with vision? With powerful declarations? With bold decisions? With actions that prove you are ready to become who you say you want to be? You don't need another video. You need to commit to a new vibration. You need to become impossible to ignore. Life pays attention to those who vibrate with power. And when you begin to shift internally, something curious happens. You disconnect from your old identity like someone stepping out of tight clothes. You look back and barely recognize who you used to be. The old wounds don't hurt anymore. The old doubts no longer matter. The limitations that once looked like walls now become steps. Because you've grown. Because you've risen. Because you chose to leave the frequency of survival and enter the frequency of intentional creation. And in that state, something shifts. You no longer think, how will I make my first million? You already know you will. The question becomes, how will I use my million to serve, to expand, to multiply even more value? You step out of scarcity and into the realm of conscious abundance. And on this new level, you begin to attract new ideas. You see opportunities that no one else noticed. You become more selective, more calm, more magnetic. Because the true millionaire doesn't chase, they attract. They emanate a frequency of silent authority, of non-negotiable clarity, of inevitable certainty. And guess what? That person already exists inside you. They're not far away. They're the version that's always lived within you, suffocated by fear, by urgency, by doubts that others planted in your mind. But now, they're waking up, breathing, breaking through, emerging. The first million you desire so deeply is simply the inevitable result of living every day as that version of yourself. You begin to act with more elegance, think with more depth, speak with more truth, decide with more firmness. And that changes everything. You attract the right partners. You say no with ease. You invest with courage. You realize that money flows when you stop needing it and start channeling it with consciousness. Because now, you're in command. And now that you know, now that something within you has awakened, there's no going back to who you were. You're no longer the person who started this video. Your energy field has shifted. Your awareness has expanded. And this is no coincidence. It's a response. You asked for a sign, and the universe brought you clarity. Your first million is not a prize for the lucky. It's a reflection of someone who decided to raise their internal standard, of someone who aligned their mind with their mission, of someone who stopped doubting, stopped hesitating, stopped living small, and finally claimed their greatness. You no longer need permission to grow. You no longer need to justify your dreams. You no longer have to dim your light to fit into small places. The world is hungry for people like you, people who shine without fear, who prosper with purpose, who inspire by example. And if there's ever been a right time to begin, that time is now. Today is the first day of your new life. Today is the beginning of your first million, not because it's already in your account, but because it's already in your mind, already in your energy, already in your frequency. All you need to do now is stay in it. Glowing Star, wake up every day and ask yourself, are my thoughts, emotions, and actions aligned with the frequency of my wealth? And if they're not, adjust, elevate, decide again, declare again, realign your posture, your thoughts, your words, because that's how you create. Millionaires aren't born. They're built from the inside out. And if this message touched you, if something inside you ignited while listening, then don't ignore that vibration. Expand it, strengthen it, share it. Push pin subscribe now to this channel. This space is for destiny creators like you. Glow with Meridians, share this video with someone who also needs to awaken. Speech balloon and comment below with full conviction. Align your frequency. Yes, write it, not as a phrase, but as a decision. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. You know where you're going. And your first million is just the beginning.